right? Now, the guys who were running the cafes at the time, they didn't want to spend £6-7 on the latest Elvis single or the latest Diana Ross single or whatever was huge at the time, right? So they were going down and picking these records up for free or for next to nothing off the Harbour Master, like for a penny a pop, bringing them back and putting them in their jukeboxes and telling the kids that this is the newest fucking hit from America. So the kids were going in, throwing their couple of pence into the jukeboxes and bopping away all night. And by process of elimination is how we get Northern Soul. So generally anything that was like from Motown or Stax or anything like that was above 100 BPM.
That's right, yes.
That could be danceable,
yeah.
That's how they filtered it out via the jukeboxes. So the kids start dancing to fucking stuff that was fast. So
unless of the
they didn't want the whatever the drifters and shit. They wanted the higher BPM stuff. But the only stuff they were getting was the stuff that Motown did not want. Right? And because there was no internet, there was no communication essentially between them. It was a nightmare. So what started happening is the cafe owners, by throwing these 7 inches in, they were getting the readouts at the end. The jukebox guy would arrive and say, well, this record was played 700 times in the last month.
Wow, right.
And this one was only,
readings like that. That's cool, yeah.
So this one was played an awful lot, and this one was played very little. So like, what's the difference? He listened to it, and one was a fucking, like I said,
100 BPM higher.
Bullshit. And one, the gang got bopped to. Yeah. Now, from that came the Northern Soul scene in the, I think it was 66, 67, something like that.
So these guys were listening to music that was not even heard. No, but not even heard in America.
Yeah,
like not even big in America. But they were getting mad into this.
They were getting mad into it. That's where the scene spawned. Now, again, this is this could quite possibly be a very storied version of this story. You know, this could be turned up to 11. But it does make sense.
Rudimentary rumors.
Yeah, it does make sense because we know that the rarity of these records is because they were not available, and they were not available because Motown and the other soul labels were fucking getting rid of them. They were going into cargo holds to become ballast for ships. And then when they got to the ports in the UK, they were being thrown out onto the pier. So what survived and what became popular was literally just a dice roll. Completely and utterly a dice roll. That's what's insane about it. That's why you will see there's a million compilations now about Northern Soul hits, and you read through it and there's stuff there that you won't know anything about any of them. And they got popular 40, 50 years after they were well gone. What's interesting is stuff like Frankie Valli, The Night, that became a big Northern Soul hit, even though that was like his little experimental. Frankie Valli, one of the first white people, I think, to actually sign to Motown. Yeah. And he released this kind of funky...
The Four Seasons. I have a feeling the name Four Seasons might come up later.
What do you reckon? Go on. Anyway.
Just, like I said, your man, Simon Susan, stole, whatever.
That was a big rant. I'm sorry for going off on that.
No, that's exactly what I wanted from this, because I don't really know much about Northern Soul.
Either do I just been around it a little bit.
And I have to say, the music is absolutely, I love it. I just love that higher tempo.
It's the process of public elimination, and never before has that happened in any genre of music.
Yeah, absolutely. So he bootlegs 2,000 copies of this, but changes the name to Eddie Foster, Do I Love You? Not Frank Wilson. Eddie Foster, Do I Love You? And it wasn't until Susan sold his record collection, I think a few years later, that it was discovered when they took the label off. This is the original one was Frank Wilson.
Mad.
So it went through this was literally only one of the copies that were, it sold a few times, but the last time it was sold was, I think it was around 2007. I could be wrong about that. 2009. It sold to a private unnamed buyer for over 25 grand. 25 grand. And it is speculated that the person who bought this was Frank Wilson himself.
Really?
Strongly speculated that Frank Wilson bought it himself.
Where did he get the money for that if he fucking nobody knew about it?
He's a mad producer. He's writing hits for everyone. He's fine. He never wants to be a singer. Didn't want to be. He's still on Motown.
He knew Radical Day.
No, he's on Motown. He's still with Motown. With Berry Gordy. He was at the time writing and producing all the time. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. Like, so he passed away in 2012. Nobody will really know who bought that last well-known
unless we go
copy.
to his gaff right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know where the original copy that could be the original copy that Susan, obviously he kept it, maybe. I don't know. That's just, this is just all rumor.
It's all hearsay.
Conjecture, hearsay.
This is the Batman of music.
So this song is, this 45 inch, 45 inch? 45 inch?
RPM.
Jesus. 7 inch.
Size of that record. Surf on that fucking thing.
Imagine how good it would sound if we only had to play that.
Each groove was a centimetre
away.
wide.
Giant machine to play that.
You play it with a drill.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
So that's the story about Frank Wilson's Do I Love You? Indeed I Do. One of the most... Now, obviously, it's been repressed loads. It's been repressed loads. Probably officially even now, maybe at this stage, once, Motown, did that good again? I don't know. I don't really know. So that is the end of my Frank Wilson story.
That's a good story.
So what's your next one?
Kind of in the same vein as the last one, not quite. I picked Shirley Ellis, and I picked the song Birds, Bees, Cupids and Bows.
The only thing I know from Shirley Ellis is the clapping song?
Yeah, the clapping song. So Shirley Ellis was mostly known as a novelty act, which is something, for some reason, I have great interest in novelty acts.
Well, your first album was Jive Bunny, so...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just in me for some reason.
No, I love that. I love that kind of niche, kind of little
it's
weird.
It's just
little bit weird.
Garbage. But Shirley Ellis, for some reason, had this... even though they were novelty songs, they're so fucking amazing. Like, she's known for the clapping song or for the Name Game.
Yeah.
The Name Game got a big boost in the last couple of years because they done a version of it on American Horror Story, the TV show.
That's all it needs.
They done like a full reenactment of it. Whatever season, I can't remember which version it was. They done a bunch of songs and they had the cast sing them. It was like a musical season.
Yeah.
And one of them they done, was it Angela Lang, is that her name? The actress from it? I can't remember her name. Jessica Lang. Done a version of The Name Game. Now, The Name Game is a fantastic song.
Yeah.
It's super. The clapping song is super.
It's really good.
She done a bunch of other stuff that is not quite as novelty. She was known as a novelty act, but I picked this. This was actually a single. This was released as a single, but this would have been well past her prime. It's very hard to find songs of hers on Spotify. She put out a couple of albums, but it's very, very difficult to find her stuff. You will find her biggest song is probably the Nitty Gritty, which has been been using a bunch of ads. You'd know.
I probably know if I heard it. Yeah.
And the clapping song, The Name Game, I don't think is on Spotify, which is real weird. It might be there if there's a soundtrack for an American Horror Story, but it won't
also might be named something else. Sometimes that happens as well.
Quite possibly. Yeah. But this song is very, very good. This is very different from the novelty stuff she put out in the past. It was a single, but it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's completely and utterly overlooked. Now, she was born in 1929. So she was doing the rounds for a long, long time. She retired in 1968. And she died in New York City in 2005. So this song came out in 1966. So this would have been, like I said, kind of past her prime and her big novelty act kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She was signed to Kappa Records, a subsidiary of Kappa Records called Congress. And they had a bunch of big acts, Fred Astaire, Burt Bacharach. They had Budgie at one stage. Cher,
didn't
Elton
Metallica
John.
Cover Budgie? The Welsh band?
Yeah.
The Welsh rock band?
Yeah. There was a Bread Fan, you know.
Bread Fan. Deadly song.
So the Cher, Elton John, all this kind of shit. So she was on a good record label.
Yeah.
She wasn't considered a novelty act. I think what they thought about Shirley Ellis was that a lot of people liked her kind of bullshit clapping song, Name Game, Nitty Gritty.
It's fun.
Let's try and turn her into a serious artist. But like I said, this song came out in 66, and she retired in 68. It just didn't.
At this time, a lot of these people, like, it's not really up to them to be creative in terms of their songwriting. They're getting songs written for them, so they really have to just kind
of. A lot of times,
like this goes to Elvis as well.
Yeah, she did have a songwriting partner, and it's just kind of fucking left me now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Who her songwriting partner was. I don't know whether they'd done anything too amazing.
Right
now, she started off as the singer in another band, a soul band. I think they might have been on Motown for a while, but they got released. And then she got picked up by kind of one of their, because she was kind of a castaway, one of the Motown, one of their rivals kind of picked her up, and that's where the novelty thing came from. But I'll be honest with you, it's not that it's difficult to find stuff on Shirley Ellis. It's just she seemed to have two parts of her career. One was that she was doing a little bit of backing singing, and she fronted a band, and then it all turned to shit. She starts releasing these novelty songs, and does kind of well. And then she decides to have a crack at an actual straight career, and it lasts about 2 years, maybe 3, and she's just out, knocks it on the head. Dies in 2005 in New York City. And that's really it. It's really hard to find her stuff. You'll find 7 inches for like the Name Game, the Clap on
Seems
song.
like an artist that the companies didn't know what to do with.
They hadn't a clue what to do with her. That song,
Clearly talented.
if you listen to that song, Birds, Bees, Cupids and Bows, it's really, really good, and it absolutely holds up to anything else coming out around that time.
Yeah.
You'll find maybe an album on Spotify and a little compilation with some stuff on it.
Like you're talking about at that stage, those artists like that are hoping for a big artist to drop a song.
Yeah.
To the record label, go, don't want that, and they send it to someone. They hopefully it trickles down
just
to
get
them,
passed
and
along.
you get a hit.
Yeah. It just gets passed along.
You're hoping for that. Yeah,
that's
crazy.
the end of it.
Crazy.
That's Shirley Ellis. Birds, Bees, Cupids and Bows is the song. It's a little bit slower than some of her other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's equally as good as her novelty stuff, which is the second you hear her novelty songs, they're seared into your fucking brain. You can't get them out at all.
Yeah.
Right, what's your next one?
My next one is Vivaldi.
Really?
Yeah. I've picked a song from the Four Seasons, L'estate, which is the summer section of the Four Seasons, the third bit in G minor. This is the version I picked, obviously, just before I went to classical music.
Well, just before you even talk about this, I have to point out you are currently drinking a bottle of red wine.
I am
talking about classical music.
I am.
What happened?
What happened to me?
Real?
Where did it all go wrong?
Do you remember we used to sit in your gaff in Glasnevin playing cards?
Drinking horrible cans.
Drinking piss cans.
Piss cans.
Absolutely. Holston Pills piss cans. Like the dirt, the cheapest shite.
Yeah.
Like sitting there.
Doing basically this.
Not far off it.
And now, what, 16, 17 years later?
Talking about music and comics.
We're actually asking people for money for it.
For real. And they're giving it to us. Sticking it on you public. Sops. No, but for real, give us money.
When I was, I'm going to just give an admission here. When I was young, even though I was mad into music, I didn't know how classical music worked in terms of
one did.
Of recording.
We didn't go to Belvedere like JJ72.
I swear, I didn't understand how recording worked when I was maybe 11 or 12, 13. I thought a Vivaldi CD had Vivaldi on it.
All right. Like he lived in it, like.
No, like he was part of.
Yeah, exactly.
They somehow got the recordings from years ago. Like Naxos, someone from Naxos is listening going, now.
That's Vivaldi there.
Now I understand that sheet music has passed down since decades.
Classical music is essentially
centuries.
As seen on television, right? Do you remember
But I didn't understand, as a kid I didn't understand classical music.
But you know the way you used to buy like albums when you were a kid, and it's like featuring hits such as blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But there wasn't the originals. There were covers.
No.
But some like fucking like Welsh fucking bands that were put together to play some garbage, and they'd sell them for like £5.
It was only genuinely when I really started to buy like or notice classical CDs around my gaff. I was like, oh right. Obviously, Vivaldi's been dead centuries, and he wasn't part of any recording because the ability to record didn't exist. I was young as Stu. I was very thick as a kid. Very thick. I'm not going to lie to you. And it hasn't really improved since then.
Just slightly.
So anyway, with that said, this kind of bleeds into the story. So, Antonio Luci Vivaldi is obviously a very, very, very well-known Italian composer, virtuoso, teacher, priest, lover, fighter, and a knocker out. And he's also whopper at Tekken Tag.
Savage.
Yeah. I'm so glad we got a joke into this.
Who's your Tekken boy? Who would you pick playing Tekken?
Eddie Gordo.
Really king for me.
Oh, that's good. It's very hard if he's very hard character to master. Armor King if you want to be a spicy cunt.
If you're a spice master, a spice master playing Armor King.
All those Tekken characters were King mixed with Nina.
Yeah, Bertie Gordy was he? Bertie Gordy. No, it's happening.
Oh, the drink is kicked. I'm so glad because this podcast was getting very nerdy.
It's mad dry.
It was very nerdy. Now the drink is pure kicking in now. I'm telling stories about me thinking Vivaldi was on the CDs you could buy. He's talking about Berry Gordy doing 1, 2, 3 combos.